So,
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a
All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Sunday, August 19th, 2018. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us some time. Please subscribe, maybe toggle the switch. After subscribing, ring the bell. And then after that, toggle the switch to work with you and your device in the best possible manner to alert you whenever we put out a Patriot Hour update or Patriot Hour weekly show. You'll be alerted. All right, we got Ben here in the studio with us. Let's see how he's checking with him. How you doing over there, Ben?
Doing pretty good. You guys got me coming through pretty good. Good to be on for another little Patriot Hour show again, getting a little bit deeper into what we've been doing and talking about some just crazy stuff happening. It's rolling fast.
Yes, it is. Tons of things happening, going down. We were just talking about Huber out of nowhere. Then we saw that Q had reposted some stuff about Huber, an article that we read back in April. Let me see if I can bring
that
this
pulled up, right? The one that was really interesting when he was talking about the there it is, pulling up one of them amendments, which is super awesome.
So yeah, we had the Sessions appointing Utah federal prosecutor. Much better for Trump than second special counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I read this whole thing
about that
earlier, but yeah, Jonathan Turley. This guy is a top national legal expert on government investigations. Commented Thursday, but this is back in March, about Attorney General Jeff Sessions' decision to bring in U.S. Attorney John Huber. Turley called it brilliant to combine all the powers of the U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General with a prosecutor who can bring charges, seek indictments, and get results for President Trump far more quickly than a second special counsel. So it's kind of...
It is, well, it is brilliant because it's like, here's a prosecutor who can bring charges and have a platform where those charges can be heard and then ruled upon, and then judgment can be ruled upon those charges. Because I think, didn't Q post that grand jury is convened?
Yes,
So
we've heard.
We know. Yes,
we have heard that. Turley, a law professor at George Washington University who attended national fame during the 1998 impeachment of President Bill Clinton, as a top legal authority on special counsels and congressional investigations of government wrongdoing, including criminal wrongdoing. His reputation has only grown during the intervening 20 years as he has weighed in on scandals and investigations of public officials from both political parties. So anyway, he goes on to say that this is just Huber teamed up with Horowitz, the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, who is working with Huber, and they have that staff of over 470 investigators, giving Huber access to an enormous investigative firepower that far exceeds the staff of any kind of special counsel.
because those special counsels, they're very small in comparison to 470, investigators. That's a small army.
Well, and then lots of people are worried. I've noticed commenting throughout the last few months, like, hey, all these people are getting, are able to quit. Don't worry, folks. Just because they quit, resign, because we've seen a lot of resignations walking away. That doesn't mean that they can't be held accountable. Because if you look here, right here on this one, this top paragraph. The point is critical because of Sessions' March 29 letter explains the Inspector General's jurisdiction to conduct civil and criminal investigation includes actions taken by former employees after they have left the government service. Then Huber can act on any of those matters.
So just because they got fired or they're quitting or they're stepping down, what it looks like they're doing now, you can still get them, people.
Exactly. So just to wrap this article up, what did they say here? It's important to note Huber is a Utah lawyer, not a D.C. lawyer. The distance between him and Washington is very important. Turley explained this, because Huber is not part of the deep state. That is, not cozy buddies with the cocktail party scene that is suspected of perpetuating all of these actions against President Trump and his administration. Turley said President Trump should be very happy that Sessions chose this route of appointing Huber, who has the power to seek indictments, prosecute cases, and teamed up with Horowitz, who has 470 investigators at their disposal. If the president wants to see swift and decisive action, this is how it's going to happen. If a special counsel were appointed, there would be a great deal of delay, Turley stated, versus a team of Huber and Horowitz, who already have 5 months into this investigation. Now, at this point, we're talking 7 or 8 months. This article is from March. This has been going on since November 17th or something of 17.
Yep.
That's when all the indictments started, folks.
Started rolling down big time.
We've, I think on an average, it's 1,100 annually. And these indictments will come a couple in January, a couple dozen in February, a couple, however it is to give you 1,100 a year, where we've had 5,000 a month.
And the numbers are astronomical when it comes to these indictments and what they're coming down with, because it's very unique. Because Huber does have the power to not only indict but also prosecute. That's a very unique. I mean, not so much because when you talk about DC, special counsel,
he can do it and
not in DC. He can do it in Utah. He can do it in Ohio. He can do it wherever. He can ask another district individual, "Hey, I don't want to hold the court hearings here in Utah. You have a bigger venue there in Texas. We're going to be bringing everybody down in Texas." It's up to him because he doesn't fall under the D.C., which is the District of Columbia, outside the traditional United States, if you will, on the governmental level. So being in Utah, outside D.C., just like you said, and the fact that he has both powers at his disposal, it's the person who he has the ammunition, he has the means, and he's going to be the one who's going to be doing the firing.
Oh yeah.
And he has the team of Huber and Horowitz behind him as well, which is just.
It's a brilliant move. So everybody thinking that Sessions isn't doing anything. Now, if he recused himself and it's going on 2 years, Trump appoints him, he takes the appointment, and then Trump's like, "Oh, I need a special counsel." And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to recuse myself." And everyone's like, "Oh, boo, boo." But he did like a really powerful thing. Special counsel that Sessions would have been running would be slow play, delayed. It would only lead to a bunch of paperwork pointing at people. Somebody else would have to take that on and then prosecute. Where this way is like on the fly. It's hey, that guy's bad. They're getting indictments written up on the fly. Things are happening in a much quicker manner. So it must be some kind of game, just like Q said. Trump's acting kind of pissy with Sessions on tweets. Lots of even politicians are acting like Sessions is just sitting around doing nothing. When
twiddling his thumbs.
When we know that Huber's doing all this stuff and nobody's talking about that, they just keep saying Sessions ain't doing nothing. And it's kind of like, well, because he has to do nothing because he recused himself from any of this. So therefore, he's just not partaking in any of that. He's doing whatever else his job entails as Attorney General.
No, that's very true, because there's a lot of people who don't quite understand this concept of.
If he would do something now, they would blast him for recusing himself, but now trying to be involved, and it would be a crime. That's what the news would be barking. And since he's not doing
Yeah,
that, they're blaming him for doing nothing.
having no idea that this is actually a very brilliant power move to place himself in a very strategic area, and those around him, giving them the power that they've been doing. Because we can even see from history, we know what special counsels are all about. We know how they function. This isn't the first time that somebody's been screaming, what about the special counsel? We should get one going, and how they go. We've seen them happen before. That's why we know the red tape. And for this move to happen and these placements, obviously is definitely the streamlined version of you're bad, write it up. I'll be the one who's saying he's bad, he or she's bad in front of the judge, and they'll be going away. Boom. All right, next one. Let's go. Let's knock these out. It's kind of like we're going to be on almost a production style line of handing out indictments, getting the judgments, getting them in punished, get the people who did judgment where it is. And then, of course, there's these special places reserved for, those who have no names, and the agency, the no-name agency, Gitmo's still open.
Yeah.
And
well, on that note,
and they're remodeling.
Yeah. So like you said, on that note of that, let's jump into this a little bit. So we have the White House, the presidential action. We're both really familiar with it here, and most of the people on this channel, the original old-time first subscribers, if you've been following the executive order for blocking property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse. Now, why would Trump create this if it's not being, I think we're operating in a way where there's since he made an executive order on this and is deemed a state of an emergency, we're operating at elevated levels again, folks. It's probably just cloak and dagger. We're not seeing it. They're not broadcasting it, but it's happening. That's what we kind of believe over here, or I do anyway. The United States.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you, brother.
Yeah, and the United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse or engage in corruption, as well as to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. I therefore determine that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. And I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. National emergency. You get to act. It's almost like war has been declared. All right?
Yes. Is it war on drugs? Now we're going to be, it gets more here. What now? What you pulling this one up is where?
Well, that was a highlighted thing out of that. I was just kind of scanning through. But now you go down to underneath that to the White House presidential actions of 2018. So here's another one. March 1st. This came several months after that, December 21st of 17. 2018 amendments to the manual of the courts. Court Martial, United States. This is a UCMJ. So I think the highlighted
having to deal with the
go ahead and read this. Section 12.
It says
let me just go
accordance with. All right, cool.
I'll go down to section 12. All right.
Section 12, there we go. In accordance with Article 33 of the UCMJ, as amended by Section 5204 of the MJA, Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security, will issue non-binding guidance regarding factors that commanders, convening authorities, staff judge advocates, and judge advocates should take into account when exercising their duties with respect to the disposition of charges and specifications in the interest of justice and discipline under Article 30 and 34 of the UCMJ. That guidance will take into account, with appropriate consideration of military requirements, the principles contained in official guidance of the Attorney General and the attorneys of the federal government with respect to the disposition of federal criminal cases in accordance with the principle of fair and even-handed administration of federal criminal law. Means the United States criminal, military justice. We're talking getting into the judge advocates. These are the people who are going to be handing down or actually making the rulings on these indictments. And that UCMJ, the fact that now the military can get their hands involved in guidance. I mean, Attorney General and for other federal governments with respect to disposition of federal criminal cases, over 45,000 sealed indictments, all coming from the federal side. And now they can start playing, or not start playing, now they can start handling federal criminal cases.
Yeah. So we got FBI plus the FBI personnel removal, the DOJ personnel removal, C_A, CIA personnel removal, plus the State Department personnel removal, White House personnel removal, Senate personnel removal, Chair, CEO, VP removal, military
That's the
budget,
big one,
largest in
yes.
history, military presence around the POTUS, plus the 45 sealed. So we talked about these heads of agencies. When they're found to be corrupt, found to have treasonous people at the heads, not the rank and files, folks. We've discussed this. We've been down this road. Those are good people, rank and file, the meat. It's just the head of the snake. All right, they were embedded. Trump had the right to shut them down and go at this in a whole different manner, which would have been really, really scary for people. Really, really scary. We're talking about martial law shutting down because of the people would have revolted in LA, Chicago, New York, some of the bigger cities. There would have been pockets of just chaos and fires, and nobody would have understood what's going on, what's happening. These people that you typically have been infatuated with, taking advice from, looking up to, out of nowhere getting arrested because their crimes have been covered, right? They've been covered up.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this is nothing new. We've been Q's been telling us about it, and especially when it comes to chiefs and these people, we are always for the rank and file. I mean, that's what's coming to light is people like you and I. He wants to give the power back to the people. That's the rank and file, you and I, and these organizations. Basically it's almost like the head of the snake, if you will. But I'm not calling, of course, these organizations like the FBI and these people. I'm not calling them the organization snakes. It's an analogy of these evil people at the head of these organizations have wielded this organization's power like an evil serpent.
Yeah. When
using very good people who have good intentions, like you said, the rank and file, and it's amazing that this is coming out for the fact and how large it is,
and people
even
are
below
rejecting
it was
all along the way, folks,
and,
because it's the opposite of what you're hearing on the news. They're just acting like Trump's going nuts and firing people. They're not saying, well, the guy did lie. And typically when you lie at the FBI, it's a felony to lie to the FBI if you're sitting on the other side of that table. But they can lie.
At the FBI. Well, you made a good point early when you talked about there could have been a different way when it came to martial law. And, people, for the most part, don't really understand all the mechanisms that could have happened. And martial law entails suspension of the Constitution of the United States. And so
we found out that it is actually embedded in the Constitution to have martial law, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Or if it's just it was there.
It was part of one of the articles, I believe, for the very fact that yes, if something happened, but it was interesting because you said that there would be so much chaos, and now it's coming out that we know it would be planned, strategic, well-funded chaos.
Well, they wanted to push
of,
him into doing it. If he would have done that, it probably would have played right into the hands of these people because there you'd have the economy kind of shut down. You'd have martial law, people on restrictions and can't really travel the streets unless you have official business to do. And who knows, right? For a short period of time or whatever, it would have been bad. Shutting down the head of these agencies, that he would have came in, it would have looked real dictatorish and real, he's doing what Hitler did, or something, he's shutting down the FBI,
no, you're right.
He's shutting down this. So folks, the military, they came up with a really good plan to do it in the manner that they're doing it, exposing the crimes. As long as this is taking, again, Trump wasn't going to take off handcuffs on his side and slam Hillary against the wall, spread them. You don't do that. That's wrong. He would have looked really bad. Who arrest for the federal government? You got to tell the FBI to do it. And even though Trump's Trump, you can't just call up somebody and say, hey, go arrest them. The crimes they did. And
there's checks and balances.
No, they didn't. What crimes do you have? Yeah. It's just like anything else. Even though these people are bad and part of it, they'll use the law to make you prove to them. They'll use it when it comes to you needing somebody arrested, but when they want to break it, they subvert it. But
exactly.
Very crazy, folks. All right, so what else we have here? You were talking about Guantanamo, which after all that stuff, so
thing is, in the last administration was trying to shut down how evil it is, and not the case in this one, because we need to put some very highly treasonous individuals in here.
That's right.
And so what's been happening is they've been remodeling, getting ready for new residents be coming in there for quite a long time. There's a $1.3 trillion in the overall spending bill. Now, of course, that's $200 million up in new construction, 10 for Gitmo. The biggest ticket item for the U.S. Navy base in Cuba, the so-called omnibus spending law, is $115 million for a new 848 troop barrack across the street from the McDonald's and the commissary, and to consolidate the enlisted prison staff under one roof. Because you have the military there. I mean, how awesome is that? I mean, it would be an actual, like a normal military installation where you go there. You have the military barracks. They're the barracks for all the military, the soldiers. You've got, you got places to eat, the commissary, the PX, things to shop on there. Because any soldier knows if you're going to be doing a tour outside of outside the United States, one of the things you do miss is the little comforts of home. So sometimes the PX will, they may bring in a semi truck and boom, that's their to have one, something like that. So they're really good in this upright. So now maybe Gitmo is going to be a regular, rotation, if you will, not just for, the MPs or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So U.S. to spend $240 million on upgrades. Same article. This is a little different one. This one's from. When is this? Know how old that article is.
Yeah, it doesn't really. So they're not, he's getting the wall built, and he's upgrading the place where we put the treasonous terrorists that we hold, that nobody else wants them, like Clinton.
So then we got
the other one was a fine, that one, the Breitbart was a good article.
That was the Trump one.
This one here, the Trump one as well. Yep. So I think he was kind of.
Let me see here.
I think that was. Check one more tweet and then. maybe wrap up and then maybe do a little round 2 here a little bit later on what we originally maybe or early on what we were talking about for the little second idea for the little second part of this.
14 hours ago. Look like. Nope, I've read all these already in the last one.
Yep.
But
Okay. No collusion, no Congress, anything that sticks out at you like any type of possible, what do they call that? Meta message? Any message within the message?
yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Mhm.
No, it's just a couple minutes here. Yeah, I agree. FBI, all the people that were removed from the FBI, CIA, the State Department, the White House, Senate, people walking away, not going for re-election from both sides, folks. This is what we call the deep state. It's not Republican, not Democratic. It's just,
Yep.
there's no boundaries. Take all that into consideration with the 45,000 indictments. When did the indictments really start? November. Out of all places, November of last year. What happened in November? Huber started his investigation. So there's so many coincidences, so many things that add up, exactly like we're being told. Other people have excuses for one thing after another for why this can't be. Trump ain't saving the world. Military ain't doing nothing. Now we have all these laws in place. We actually have a UCMJ. We have a constitution. There's all kinds of paperwork that talk about the things that are happening right now and how to deal with them. So there is a chance. Otherwise, we wouldn't have these laws set into place to have oversight, to have justice. Maybe this is truly what's going on. Trump is enforcing some of these things. That's why there's such resistance against him. The minute all the resistance would stop would mean that he is now being complicit with them. And he has not stopped. He's been being badgered, attacked, beaten. The media, the foreign heads of all of these FBI, DOJ, CIA, all these guys are getting their security clearances stripped. And there's a big reason for that, folks. It's not just because they have been going on CNN and talking a little bit and promoting their last book. It's because they've been doing treasonous things. They know it. We know it. And soon the whole world will know it.
Oh, I agree. I think that's a great little capper to this little episode right here, man. That pretty much says it all. And yeah, I agree. I totally agree, man. That was it, man, right there.
All right, we're gonna take a small break here, folks. Maybe come back with another one for you. Most likely we will. We got everything set up. Hitting the 30-minute mark here, so great to have Ben with us. He'll be back on this next episode just here in a minute. So again, thanks for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Please maybe ring the bell, like, share, comment. Take a look in the description box. Take a look in the comment section. Other than just leaving a comment, there's lots of comments in there by lots of patriots around the globe, around the country here, that are just coming out of the woodwork to be part of this point in history. This is history in the making, folks. There will be movies made about this. There will be books written about this. If you guys like the movies and all that, just wait until one comes out about all of this time. All of this has taken place, and it'll probably be wrapped up real well. Lots of facts, lots of things that you didn't see going on that just couldn't be seen. All right. Again, this is a Patriot Hour. I'm Mike. Thanks for stopping by. God bless. Godspeed to each and every one of you worldwide, and we'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update video. Have a great evening.